In this video, I want to tell you guys about Knull, the god of symbiotes. But before I can do that, I'm going to have to talk about Venom first. The character of Venom has been around in Marvel Comics since 1984. At this stage, he's been featured in a ridiculous amount of comics, cartoons, a Spider-Man movie, and even his own solo movie. But one thing that's never really been focused on is the origin of the species. Well, it turns out that the symbiotes, or the Clintar, were created by a creature known as Knull. Knull was first introduced in Venom issues 3 and 4 of 2018, and he was created by writer Donny Cates and artist Ryan Stegman, a really dope creative team. In issue 4, Eddie Brock discovers that Knull has been around since before the universe itself. Knull lived in the void of nothingness, just content to drift in the endless abyss. Which, seems like a peaceful existence, until of course it was interrupted by Celestials, who are these other ancient godlike beings that created the universe. They disturbed Knull's nothingness. The Celestials cast Knull aside, and the abyss that he lived in became what we now know as space. This was the dawn of creation. The void was now interrupted by planets, stars, and galaxies. This was no longer Knull's domain. But Knull didn't accept this. The abyss had teeth, and Knull could control it and wield it as a weapon. So he created a sword, which would become known as All Black the Necro Sword. And he used this unique weapon to decapitate one of the Celestials. The remaining Celestials then banded together to banish Knull back to his void. Initially, this seemed to work out for them, but they didn't realise just how at home Knull was in the void. So he got to work, and he used the fallen Celestial's head as a forge to create the first ever symbiote. He used the first symbiote as an enhancement for his blade, but he then went on to create a symbiote armour, also that he could go on a Celestial killing spree. Now remember, this is still early days, but by using this forge, Knull had unintentionally given the symbiotes their inherent weaknesses to both sonic attacks.
Yeah. Hey, can you turn your music down, please? Because I'm having a really hard time.
Whatever.
And fire.
Goodbye, Eddie.
Venom,
Oh, and fun fact, that big old head is now known as Nowhere in the modern Marvel universe. But we're not done with Knull's story just yet. He eventually discovered that he could bond his new creations to lesser creatures and control their new forms as his vessels. So, Knull went on to create an army of these symbiotes, with himself at the centre of the hive mind. He used them to spread across the universe, establishing the Symbiote Imperium, all while he continued to destroy the light and any creations in his path. As I'm sure you can tell, he's a pretty intense dude. Eventually though, the symbiotes would rise up and turn against their master. In previous comics, we had been shown what we thought was the home planet of the symbiotes. But this story revealed that it's not a planet at all. Instead, it's actually billions of symbiotes connected together, forming a cage around Knull and holding him back from wreaking any more havoc across the galaxy. And there he has stayed, imprisoned by his own creations for billions of years. Until now. Quick warning, I'm about to talk some minor spoilers for the conclusion of Absolute Carnage, an excellent 2019 symbiote-themed event. It's dope, I highly recommend checking it out, and there's so much more that happens outside of what I'm about to spoil. But anyway, that event concludes with Carnage successfully awakening Knull, and giving the ancient god the power to once again rise up and destroy the light. So yeah, bad news. Unless Venom and the gang can do something to stop a celestial killing symbiote god, then the Marvel Universe is doomed. But it'll probably be grand. The creative team of Cates and Stegman have already begun to tease their next big event, The King in Black. It's coming soon. So if you want to know what happens next, be sure to check out that upcoming event. Also, be sure to support the industry, support your local comic book store, buy some Venom comics, they're pretty good right now. The character of Knull also appears in the recent Silver Surfer run called Silver Surfer Black, which was incredibly trippy, and also by Donny Cates. You should check that out even if it is just for Trad Moore's incredible art. It's pretty rad. And this is less important, but it would still be pretty dope if you wanted to support me by liking the video, sharing it around, like the Facebook page, leave a comment, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. Alright, thanks for watching.